Good afternoon, sir.
Fine, let's start.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon episode of Pursue. And today we have Pursue 5P, which is General Pathology and Immunopathology. And we are streaming live from Kolkata. And with us we have Dr. Major Palash Kumar Mandal, who is an MD from Kolkata, and he is an Associate Professor in Pathology from Sagar Datta Medical College, Kolkata, and also as he is a Lab Director of Desan Hospital and Heart Institute, Kolkata. And he shall be talking today on immunology, which is autoimmune diseases. Before I ask Dr. Mandal to take over, let me request you to keep your mic muted, your camera off, and please don't share your screen. With this, let me request Dr. Mandal, sir, please share your screen and let's start.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yeah, please make it full screen.
All right, sir.
Right, please. Thank you. Let's start.
So, today, good afternoon, everybody. We will continue our discussion with the autoimmune diseases, immunity, and we will be discussing autoimmune diseases today. Okay, but basically, what I want to impress upon you is that we will go into we will talk about some of the diseases, only two in fact, SLE and rheumatoid arthritis, two autoimmune diseases. But what I want to impress upon is that the basis of autoimmune disease is very important. You have to understand why are these autoimmune diseases occurring in our body in the first place, because there are so many protective mechanisms, so many things are there to protect us from these antigens, self reacting and antigens, so antibodies. So instead of everything, why does it happen? So that is what we want to understand, and then we will be discussing something about these two diseases, because these two diseases, if you study, they will take one class each for each disease. So instead of going into the details of the disease, definitely we will go into a bit of the disease itself. But basically, my aim is to tell you what is the basis of this autoimmune disease. And to begin with, we will throw some light on something known as major histocompatibility complex. Just hold on. This thing takes some time initially. And the MHC molecules are also known as the HLA molecules, which are clustered molecules of the genes are clustered together in chromosome 6, and they are associated with these immunity because they are they are related to the antigen presentation. They are related to the presentation of the antigens to the T cells by the antigen presenting cells, or APCs. Okay, APCs, we have already discussed the dendritic cells, the macrophages, they function as APCs, and to present the antigen, whether it is a foreign antigen, whether it is a self antigen, any antigen, if it has to be produced to an immune cell, that is a T cell, that presentation needs some additional binding factors. Okay, so APC also requires some additional binding factors, like as I told you, when we eat with a spoon, the spoon is that particular factor which takes the food or the morsel to our mouth. Okay, so here also this similar functioning happens. The antigen, the cell, the immune cell is the T cell. Suppose the T cell is our mouth, and the antigen presenting cell is the hand. Okay, so hand is there, the mouth is there, and we need the antigen is the food morsel, and we need another molecule so that it can bind to the antigen, and the process of binding of antigen is and recognition by the immune cell becomes easier, and then only that action against that antigen can be taken. So that binding, that is the binder, is the molecules of HLA complex or MHC complex, and that is the spoon. Okay. This, always it happens. Screen is not moving. Just I think I need to stop sharing and then I can reload it. There's some functional problem. So it happens always with this presentation time, but today
It
it was
doesn't
not.
matter. It
So
will
I,
definitely. You can really even log in again.
so not login is not necessary. I will stop sharing and then come back to the same screen again.
Okay,
Let me try,
okay.
sir.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yeah.
Sir, can I continue with this, because if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go
Please.
back to the full screen?
No, you can no, you just try it 1 or 2 slides and then go back to full screen.
Okay, okay, sir. So MHC complex, they were actually discovered when this transplantation process began. So renal transplantation was there. So that during that time, so it was seen that due to some mechanism, the body did reject some organ, whereas in some other cases body did accept some organs, I mean the donor organ. Okay, so that process led to the discovery of this particular MHC complex. These are known as the major histocompatibility complex, and the same thing is also known as HLA, human leukocyte antigen. So these antigens are there which display peptides, as I have told you, for recognition of the antigens for the T cells. Okay, this is very class specific. So what is this class specificity mean? There are two major classes of this HLAs. They are divided into class 1 and class 2, and these classes are again displayed by specific type of cells. Like the class 1, they comprise the HLA A, B, C, and the class 2, they are the HLA DP, DQ, DR, The class 1 are expressed in nucleated cells, platelets. Class 2 are expressed in macrophages, B cells and the dendritic cells. Okay, the class 1 has alpha chain and beta 2 microglobulin, and the class 2 has alpha beta chains, and class 1 displays a cytoplasmic peptide such as viral antigen, and they display the intravesicular antigen, the class 2. Okay, so there is the difference. Okay, so who will present what and who will present to whom, so it is all specified. So class 1 will only present the antigen to CD8 cell. This is very important. You have to understand, class 1 will only present cell to CD8 cell. So these pictures are there. I have not taken this particular picture, and this is given very well in Robbins. You go back to your whenever after this class you go back to your book and see that the Robbins has illustrated this in a very nice way. Okay, so class 1 molecules can only display the specific antigen to the CD8 T cell, that is the cytotoxic T cells, whereas the class 2 they can display the cell to display the antigen to CD4 type of T cell. Okay, so that is why there is a difference. So class 2 will never present an antigen to CD8 and vice versa. Okay, so with this basic background knowledge we should progress, and we have seen it is seen that the diseases which are associated with specific these are all autoimmune diseases. If they have problems in specific HLA molecules, then some of the diseases they do happen. Okay, so one of the very classic examples of such is that ankylosing spondylitis, again an autoimmune disease, is strongly associated with malfunctioning of HLA-B27. So wherever the HLA-B27 is expressed, so that leads to this condition, that is ankylosing spondylitis. Now how does it happen? That this is again a big thing, so I am not going to details, but just to give you an idea that these HLAs are associated, and their dysfunctioning of these HLAs lead to some of the autoimmune diseases. Okay, so with this background knowledge we go to our today's next thing, that is the basic mechanism of our body's immunity. That is, the first thing is that there are two things. First thing is that the body's basic nature is that the body's immune system does not react to body's self antigens. That is the basic thing. Okay, otherwise all the tissues would be destroyed by the immune system, because all the cells, they have certain antigens, and if those antigens are presented to the destroying immune cells, so they will destroy. Okay, so the body has a mechanism of preventing certain things. Okay, so this particular thing you have to understand. And if there are some bad cells, there are some dark ships who are reacting against body's own antigens, body recognizes them and eliminates them. That is the second principle. Body does not want the self antigens to be eliminated, otherwise the body will perish. Okay, however, if there are some cells who like we all know that in a class there may be some good students, there may be some notorious students. So and the notorious students will get it is a well known thing that the teachers, they know who are the notorious students. So and they always target them. Whenever some mischief is happening in the class, they will find out if that fellow is involved or not, or who is causing the trouble. So something like that. And if the trouble is too much, that fellow will be sent out of the class, or the person who is causing the disturbance in the class will be sent out of the class, given some punishment, etc., etc. That is our school. Does not happen in college, of course. So here also the body does a similar action. The body will take out the offending cell, the cell which is reacting against body's self antigen. Okay, try to understand in this very simple mechanism instead of going into the names of molecules and the intricate details of the molecules. Try to understand in a very simple manner. So any cell which is reacting against the body's own antigen or own body's own immune system will be eliminated. Process of elimination, we will come into it. The process of basically the main process of elimination is by killing, that is called apoptosis. So very simple, if you react against body's own system, you will be eliminated or killed. Okay, that happens in most of the even in underworlds and wherever, because in certain areas you cannot kill the person. Suppose in the police, the army, if the person who is spying for the other country, if it is detected or found, with there are numerous instances of that, the person is actually removed from the service or put in jail or something like that. But the killing is very difficult in such a government setup. But in underworlds, if you find a person who is an informer to the police, if a person is found to be disloyal, so that person is directly eliminated. Okay. So here what I am showing you, that example is that if you cannot function according to the your policy of the boss, then you will be eliminated. In the first image, we see this picture, if you remember, the Amitabh Bachchan who was initially, that first Amitabh Bachchan who was killed actually, so that he was a don. So under him there were so many people, and whosoever tried to inform the police or whosoever tried to backstab him were eliminated. And similarly here, this Sholay also, if they were unable to perform or they were not doing function according to the wish of Gabbar Singh, so they were eliminated. Okay, just to give you an interest in this boring topic of immunology. Immunology is a tedious thing. Immunology, the understanding has to be very, very strong. Otherwise, because I myself always, when I go to immunology, I always have to read very carefully in between the lines, because there are so many small things. Unless you understand it, you will never be able to grasp the whole thing. Okay, so I will try to go back to the full screen.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, let's see.
Yes, sir. Let's see, sir. So coming to the basic thing, what we were discussing is immunological tolerance, that is unresponsive to an antigen, that is self antigen, where to this and here by antigen we are meaning self antigen. Tolerance means acceptability, that the body's immune system will accept all the cells of our body as self and they are friends. Okay, so there will be no enmity towards any cell of the body. This is called self tolerance. Correct? Fine. So now the self tolerance also has got two branches. One is the central tolerance, one is the peripheral tolerance. Central tolerance means centrally where the major immune cells or the immune cells are produced. You know, T cells are produced in thymus and B cells are produced in the bone marrow. So the tolerance restricted or confined to these two locations, that is the thymus and the bone marrow, is known as central tolerance, and anything other than that is peripheral tolerance. Am I clear? Okay, next. So then comes the what is happening in central tolerance. So there are some immature clones which are self-reactive. As I told you, black sheep is everywhere. So these are the black sheeps which are actually self-reactive clones. They may be T cells, they may be B cells. T cells in thymus, B cells in bone marrow. So these self-reactive clones have to be eliminated. That is why I showed you Don and Gabbar Singh have to be killed or inactivated. in the central organ itself, that is the thymus or bone marrow itself. Okay, because if they live longer, they will produce their progeny, and this progeny will be self-reactive only. So they will be destroying multiple cells in our body, and there will be total chaos and anarchy. Body does not want that. So these have to be killed and inactivated. If you are killed, one is that. Inactivated means, the first example as I told you, in a government setup, in the army, in a police, the person who is found to be inefficient in other ways, like as I told you, passing on information to the other country as a mole, or uh, passing an information to some this gangs who are not they're not good people. Okay, so if they are passing on some information, vital information to them, so that they can stay protected and also cause harm to the society at large, so they will be jailed. Okay, so they will be jailed. So this jailing here is the process of inactivation, means they will never be able to act again. Okay, the process by which they were going to activate the autoimmune mechanisms were totally destroyed. So the cells are living, but they are now inactivated. Okay, and that is happening in the thymus and the bone marrow itself. Okay, so this process has got two things. One is called negative selection, and second is, that is more specific for T cells, and the second is one for the B cells, known as receptor editing. So negative selection or deletion means T cells which are self-reactive, these cells, they are identified and deleted. Okay, they are deleted. This is called negative selection. So there are mechanisms by which the body identifies them and they are deleted. The deletion method is by, as I told you, either by some cytotoxic T lymphocyte, that is CD8 cell, or by mechanism of apoptosis. Okay, we remember we discussed about apoptosis, necrosis, cell death. Okay, so this mechanism of apoptosis by the induction of these caspases, and also ultimately caspases will be there. So they are the death domains are there, the caspases are there. So the ultimate functioning is done by the caspases. So they will eventually eliminate by apoptotic mechanisms, the breakdown of the intact cell, and eventually phagocytosis by macrophage. Okay, so this is called negative selection. Now receptor editing is what? Receptor editing is that when a B cell, suppose, recognizes a normal B cell recognizes a particular receptor. Okay, as I told you, everything has to be very coordinated way. A antigen presenting cell will go and bind to a particular class of MHC molecule, which will again go to and present it to a particular immune cell. So this is the normal process. If a body's self antigen is presented to the body's immune cell, suppose a B cell, like that, the body says that no, it cannot do that. The body's immune system, if it is functioning properly, what it will do? It will change the receptor. It will change the receptor, so that a class 1 molecule, if it was there, which was going to present it to suppose one type of B cell, it is not letting it happen. So instead of class 1, suppose a T cell class 2 molecule comes. It is body's defense mechanism, and these are very, very intricate and very complex mechanisms. Some of the actual mechanisms are still not understood. Let me tell you, this immunology, I told you the other day, the whole immunology is studied or detailed in the medicine and also DM, the DM rheumatology, as I told you, 3 years DM and DM rheumatology, and they did only deal with these immunological diseases, the treatment, so on and so forth. So these are very complex mechanisms, many of which are still to be understood properly. That is why I am telling you, try to have a basic idea. Basic idea is very necessary. You may not remember each molecule by name, but at least have a basic idea what these are. So receptor editing, another receptor comes and it changes the pattern of B cell response. Changes the pattern, that is, the B cell will not respond anymore. The B cell will not respond and not transform itself into a plasma cell, leading to a particular release of a particular and immunoglobulin. This does not happen. So what happens? If the B cell is not functioning, the B cell is not functioning, B, B cell is not functioning again, sir. This is stuck here.
It's not moving.
No, sir, it's not moving.
Okay.
That is the problem. I think that today's, I think I will, since I am going to share the lecture in PDF format, somehow it is not moving, sir. I tried so many times.
You can try another key. You can try enter, or you can try the up and down key.
Okay.
Is it functioning?
Yes, functioning. Fortunately, it's functioning. So,
Yeah, you can go back.
what happened here in this Sholay was that this fellow who was Kalia, he could not kill the persons, that is Jay and Viru, Amitabh Bachchan and this Dharmendra, and that's why this dacoit who was Gabbar Singh kills them. Okay, so this is the basic mechanism in underworld. Here also our body functions in a similar way. The body function is either by inactivation, or in most cases body actually eliminates them, because inactivated cell, when they will become active, nobody knows. So it is better to kill them and get rid of them. So this, by receptor editing, whenever the B cell becomes non-functional, the body tries to kill that B cell by mechanism of apoptosis. Okay, that is the central tolerance. Now what happens is that for central tolerance, these antigens have to be presented centrally. Centrally means these antigens need to be presented in either thymus or bone marrow, but that is not possible. All antigens cannot come to thymus or bone marrow. So what happens to those antigens which never come to bone marrow and thymus? So for that mechanism, body has the mechanism of peripheral tolerance. So there is a central tolerance, there is a peripheral tolerance too, and the peripheral tolerance in fact is more active. Okay, more active, because most of the antigens are peripherally present. They never come to the central organ. Understand? So what are the mechanisms which are acting peripheral for peripheral tolerance? First is the energy. What is energy? Energy again is something like the jailing. Jailing, what we were discussing, putting a person in jail, that is making the person totally inactive. Here also we were discussing the inactivation. This energy is actually the meaning the same, that is prolonged or irreversible functional inactivation of lymphocytes. Okay, a lymphocyte. So you see, whenever activation of lymphocyte takes place, I am going on very slowly. Please bear with me. I know we are just covering only few slides and the half time is passed, but I want to go slowly in this area because it is very difficult to understand if I go fast. So normally what happens, whenever an antigen is presented to a T cell with the help of an antigen presenting cell and with a binder, that is a particular specific MHC molecule. So that is the first chain, that is a presentation. Then the next series of action takes place, that is the production of certain these molecules, the cytokines. So who will produce the cytokines? The cells, the T cells, the CD4 cells. But they again need some co-stimulation. The co-stimulation again comes from the APC cells. The antigen presenting cells, the macrophages, they liberate again certain cytokines which help in the series of second action, that is the final action, the action of elimination or action of restriction. The molecules, one of the molecules is called, the name of one of the molecules is CD28. The CD28 is a co-stimulatory signal which helps in the release of second line of molecules for the elimination of antigens. Now in energy, what happens? There are some molecules which resemble CD28, like CTL4A or something like that. There are the names given. So these molecules, they function like CD28, but they will not lead to the release of the this cytokines which will eliminate the antigen. Okay. CD28 leads to the stimulation of T cell for release of release of signals for elimination of an antigen. But there are certain molecules which are similar to CD28 which will not lead to the, which will bind because the binding is very specific. They will only bind to certain specific molecules, and the binding agents are there, the binders are there. So like their bindings are B7 group of molecules, B7A, B72. So I am not going to the details of the names, but the binding is very specific. So the binder is needed, specific signal is needed. So specific signal is normally CD28, but similar protein like CD28 will go to and bind the same binder B7, but will not lead to a chain of reaction which will eventually eliminate. So elimination is stopped. That is energy. Okay. So if you still don't understand, you can ask me again. I will try to explain it. And now next is some T cell suppression. So normally CD4 cells, they lead to the we have studied that what happens is they will either go for this killing, with the direct killing is by CD8 cells, but they go through indirect killing, okay, by inflammation, by mechanism of this the mechanism by stimulating the macrophages for apoptosis, okay. So that opsonization and apoptosis, all these things. So these regulatory T cells, they function in that way. Okay. So but there are some immunosuppressor cytokines like interleukin 10 and TGF beta which will inhibit the T cell action, the CD4 action. So that is called regulatory T cell suppression. So regulatory T cells are a group of T cells. One of them is CD4 cell, which are actually produced in the bone marrow or thymus. T cells are produced in thymus, not bone marrow. So they are produced in the thymus. Their function is to regulate the immunological functioning. But normally they will kill a foreign antigen. However, if some cell is functioning, some regulatory T cell becomes bad, becomes self-destructive, that regulatory T cell needs to be suppressed by body's other mechanisms, and those regulatory T cells will be suppressed by certain negative signals, and one of the negative signals is interleukin 10 and there are another molecule called TGF beta, transforming growth factor beta. So these are the molecules which will inhibit or suppress the regulatory T cells or CD4 cells. Am I clear? Third point, deletion by activation induced cell death, that is apoptosis by means of caspases. Okay, so eventually one of them was suppression. I gave you an example of jailing, and finally the better one is apoptosis, that is killing. If you kill, the person will never come back. If you suppress, there is percentage of chance that the person again can come back. So one protein like ARE, autoimmune regulatory protein, has been found which stimulate the expression of some peripheral tissue restricted self antigen in the thymus and is critical for deletion of immature T cells of these antigens. Okay, so this particular protein is known to act for this tolerance. But if this protein is, this AIRE protein is mutated, the person will develop autoimmune disorder from birth. So it has been seen why this particular name has come. So mutated ARI has shown a person with a mutated ARI. Initially it was seen in a person having a disease called autoimmune polyendocrinopathy. So all the endocrine organs of that person were somehow destroyed. So they tried to find out why. So they came to this protein was discovered, and they found that this protein is regulating and leading to tolerance, central tolerance actually. But this particular name is important because mutation of this particular gene which was responsible for protein production is leading to a disease called autoimmune polyendocrinopathy. Okay, now this is a picture from Robbins which has shown in a very nice way how this central tolerance, peripheral tolerance is happening. Again, I am not going to details. All the names are given which I was discussing, CD28, B7 and everything, and you can go back to Robbins. Robbins has given it in a wonderful way. Now coming to autoimmunity. Now body was trying to protect us from this self destroying cells. However, at times these self destroying cells, they try and escape from this tolerance mechanism. Okay, so you have heard that many a times the robbers or thieves who are jailed, they escape from the jail, and once they escape from the jail, they will again cause destruction in the society. Okay, they will again go back to the same activity, some looting, some killing, some and all the negative things they were performing, they will again go back. So here also similar thing happens. So those cells which were supposed to be either killed or inactivated, they escape somehow this tolerance mechanism, and that is those cells lead to autoimmunity. Okay, they will start their action of destroying the self antigens. So pathologic autoimmunity is the immune reaction for specific for some self antigens, not all. Some group of cells will target only a particular group of antigens. Suppose in case of rheumatic fever, the antigenicity or the antibodies are targeted towards the heart antigens, the endothelial, the endocardial cells, the myocardial cells, the pericardial cells, everything is targeted. The heart is the main target. Okay. Similarly, in case of glomerulonephritis, the antigens of glomerulus, the basement membranes and other antigens, they are the targets. Okay, so specific group of the cells, that is the immune cells, they target specific antigens in a particular body. Understood? So there is a primary reaction that not secondary to tissue damage. It is a primary reaction. Okay, so no tissue damage or nothing has happened, but it is from the very beginning, this insidiously, gradually, this mechanism is starting in the body, because those T cells which were intolerant to the body's own antigens, they have escaped the peripheral tolerance mechanism and they have started their nefarious activity. Okay, but unfortunately there is no well-defined cause of diseases. Why it is happening, why they are escaping the peripheral tolerance, that particular reason is not well understood. Okay, so autoimmune diseases in general are by two principal mechanisms. One is by production of antibodies and immune complex, and one is by T cells. Mama. So by antibodies and immune complex, it can either attack a single organ or it can attack multiple organs. So in a single organ, that is the example given is autoimmune hemolytic anemia, where red cells are targeted. Okay, you remember type 2 hypersensitivity, the example we had given, AIHA. Jadipir phone আসছে একটু ধরো, sorry. So single organ was AIHA. Okay, autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Second is immune thrombocytopenic purpura, where platelets were targeted. So there is a single organ. Myasthenia gravis is again an example where the synapses were targeted. The neuron synapses were targeted, so that the acetylcholine receptors were targeted and the transmission of acetylcholine was stopped, and subsequent action of the nerve which led to the contraction of muscle was stopped. Okay, so that was myasthenia gravis. Similarly, Hashimoto's disease, we have discussed in details during our discussion on autoimmunity. So I am not going back to that. So single organ. Now multiple organs, the diseases are the diseases which involve multiple organs, that is SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, is one of the major diseases. Now by T cells, how do they also can affect a single organ or multiple organ. Single organ is type 1 diabetes mellitus, multiple sclerosis, where demyelination occurs in nerves, and type 1 diabetes mellitus is that where the cells which produce insulin, those cells are the cells which are destroyed. Okay, the beta cells of the islet of Langerhans, those cells are destroyed by this T cells. Okay, so they are destroying a single organ, that is specifically they are targeting the cells, islet cells, and that to a specific type of islet cell which is only producing insulin. No other cell, not the cell which is producing glucagon, only cell which is producing insulin, those cells are targeted and destroyed, leading to type 1 diabetes mellitus. Okay, and multiple organs, a very classic example is rheumatoid arthritis and Sjogren's syndrome. Okay, now how does it happen? Number one is progressive, that is by epitope spreading. Epitope spreading is the epitopes are spread from one particular cell to the other, and there is the action is then becomes diffuse in nature. Clinicopathologic response means what we see in the particular disease, that is by the macrophages, the immune cells we have discussed in details. You remember this hypersensitivity. If you think about hypersensitivity, we will see that this will the reaction, how the reaction takes place. And autoimmune diseases, their overall, if you look at it, the main thing is that the destruction of the tissue, and there will be some associated inflammation. Most of the cases are associated with inflammation. So the neutrophils, the monocytes will be seen at the site of the inflammation. Okay, so these most of the diseases are also known as inflammatory or the collagen vascular disease, the inflammatory disease. Not all. Diabetes mellitus is not there, but this rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren syndrome, those are the autoimmune, thus collagen vascular diseases or inflammatory diseases. Okay, and there is, for these multiple organ diseases, there is at times the serologic overlap. So antibodies which are produced may be found in multiple diseases, similar antibodies, similar this thing. Okay, so this antibodies against the nuclear antigen, against the particular say NCA, CNCA, PNCA, they may have some overlapping amongst the various diseases. Okay, because the basic mechanism, the basic central mechanism for production is similar. Okay. I don't know today this function is not functioning well. Again it has stopped. Now the basic mechanisms we were discussing, we will go into the details. One is the breakdown of self-tolerance. That is the basic. Naturally it has to be the self-tolerance, the escaping the self-tolerance. The genetic factors are there because they are multigenic. The HLA proteins are involved. There is something known as PTPN22, genes for interleukin 2 receptor, that is CD25, interleukin 7 receptor. All these genes are involved. The genetic factors, the preponderance of genetic factors is important because the susceptible persons have these genes which are altered. Okay, specific HLA types are there who are prone to the breakdown of self-tolerance, and persons who are having this PTPN22, they are prone to breakdown of self-tolerance. Okay, so that is why these are important. You see, we have to identify who are susceptible, who are not susceptible, why they are genetically susceptible, why a person who is having rheumatoid arthritis will transmit the same genes to his progeny, his or her progeny. Why? What are the genes involved? So that is why the genetic factors are there. Now something known as environmental factors. Someone who has never had some autoimmune disease in his whole family, suppose he or she develops that disease. Why it is happening? So there comes the role of environmental factors. One of them is infections. The infections, they upregulate the co-stimulators on APCs. So antigen presenting cells, the co-stimulatory molecules are stimulated, and this molecular mimicry is one of the very vital things which is you see in case of rheumatic heart disease or rheumatic fever, where the streptococcal B and the beta hemolyticus group A streptococcus beta hemolyticus antigen, the body produces antibodies against that antigen, but somehow that antibodies, they cross react with heart's antigen, that is the myocardial antigen, the endocardial antigen, the pericardial antigen. Those antigens, they are found to have some similarity with the antigen of streptococcus. So body thinks while attacking the heart muscle or attacking the heart valves, the body thinks it is attacking the streptococcus. So that is a meaning of molecular mimicry. The body mistakes. There is mistake on part of the body's immune system, and they attack body's own cells as thinking that it is a foreign cell. Now polyclonal B activation. Polyclonal B activation means there are liberation of cytokines by some viruses, especially the HIV virus, the Epstein-Barr virus. So they lead to production of multiple antibodies and cytokines and lymphocyte production, which will lead to inflammation and this autoimmunity. Okay, inflammation is there, and by the inflammation leads to destruction of certain organs. Okay, the low level of interleukin 2 production, does it protect from autoimmunity? These questions are actually unanswered. Okay, so if more interleukin 2 is produced, the more chances are there for autoimmunity. Wherever if low interleukin levels are produced, can they lead to protection from autoimmunity? So, and finally, tissue injury of tissue. The release of sequestered antigen like from sperm, the lens of the eye, that is the crystalline. These, whenever these substances are released into the body's bloodstream, they are particularly located in a particular area. The sperm is located in the suppose a seminiferous tubules, and it traverses the path during ejaculation through the vas deferens and goes out to the urethra. So that is the normal area for the sperm to reside. Okay, that it is within the testis and that vas deferens and the system. But if there is some injury to the testis, and by some if that injury leads to the sperm to be released in the blood circulation, that is, there is so much of destruction that the sperm which is there inside the seminiferous tubules comes in contact with the open blood vessel and is released into the blood vessel, then the antibodies are produced against that sperm, because the sperm was actually never exposed to the body's immune system before. It is something like that has been seen. Okay, some questions may be still unanswered. As I told you, body's immune mechanisms is so intricate that everything is still not unanswered today. Okay, fine. So this has been found that sperm, if it is released into the body system, in the body circulation, that leads to production of antibodies. Similarly, the lens, the eye lens, is a thing called crystalline in the lens. If that is released due to some injury to the eye, and if it is released in the circulation, it leads to the production of antibodies. Okay, so these are the names of various diseases. This is a book picture. I am not naming them one by one. You read up. Not all diseases may be very important, but some of the diseases are definitely important, and some of the diseases you will read when you read a particular chapter in systemic pathology. Okay, so there, suppose the myasthenia gravis, you will read in this nervous system. Say Hashimoto's disease or Graves' disease, you will read up in this. When you read endocrine organs, that is thyroid. So something like that. We are not going to details, but you know diabetes mellitus also when you read pancreas and endocrine organs. So here we will be discussing a few diseases. I will take some time and we will discuss the salient features of each disease, this rheumatoid arthritis and SLE. Not in great details. I am not going to the intricate details, just the basis. I am touching the basis because so that you can understand. We have discussed the peripheral, the tolerance. We have discussed the mechanism of autoimmunity. Now we will discuss something about these autoimmune diseases. So SLE is one of the multi-system autoimmune disease, which there is a chronic remission and relapsing, which follows a chronic remitting and relapsing course, like waxing and waning. Waxing and waning, it comes at certain points of time and automatically goes away without even treating, but again comes back. Had it gone away permanently, no problem would have been there. So it leads to injury of skins, joints, kidneys and serosal membranes, and females are much more affected than males. The ratio is 9:1, and blacks have been found to be more affected than the whites. And autoantibodies are against the nuclear and cytoplasmic components. The blood cells are produced, leading to formation of immune complexes and leading to type 3 hypersensitivity. You remember, we have discussed it already. cause unknown. That is the main problem. If the cause were known, we could have just cut or at the we could have nipped at the bud. Okay, we could have just cut it at the whenever the budding was happening. But since the cause is unknown, we actually cannot target the offending agent or target the causative agent. But the basic mechanism is that failure of self-tolerance. It is known that if it is an autoimmune disease, there has to be failure of self-tolerance, isn't it? Whether it is a central tolerance, whether it is a peripheral tolerance, there has to be failure of self-tolerance. So any autoimmune disease, this is a thumb rule. So etiopathogenesis, again genetic factors are there. The MHC and non-MHC genes are involved. There are some high-risk families, and it has been seen in increased number in monozygotic twins, and it has been seen that HLA-DQ locus is linked to antibody production, that is anti-DNA, which is specifically found in SLE, and anti-smooth muscle antigen antibodies. Okay, and many patients have also complement deficiency. You know, there are two sets of complement pathways, the classic pathway and the alternative pathway. So the complements, if they are deficient, so they have been also, these are associations. You know this cannot be pinpointed that this is leading to this, but associations have been found that this complement deficiency is one of the reasons which may be responsible for generation of SLE. And non-MHC genes have also been found in animal model where SLE can be produced experimentally by production of knockout models. Okay, the specific gene is deleted and the disease expression is noted in a particular animal, that is called knockout model. So the immunological factors, the defective elimination of it is a failure of self-tolerance. Basically, there is a failure of self-tolerance. So self-reactive B cells are not eliminated, which were supposed to be eliminated. And DNA and RNA of immune complexes mimic microbial products, engage toll-like receptors, leading to B cell activation and autoantibodies. Okay, the immune complexes which were formed in the blood, these immune complexes, they engage TLRs which are supposed to be engaged to these microbial products, that is the virus, the bacteria. The body thinks the molecular mimic, it happens like molecular mimicry, that the body thinks they are the microbial products, and B cell is activated against them, leading to autoantibody production. The B cell transforms itself into plasma cells and autoantibodies are produced. And there are some environmental factors also. Again, these are all associations. Let me tell you very frankly, the exact cause is still unknown. Had we known the cause, we would have hit the nail. But still we have not been able to hit the nail, unfortunately. And for most of the autoimmune diseases, the thing is same till now. In what will happen in future, I don't know. So UV rays, they lead to apoptosis, increased apoptosis, drugs, the female sex hormones. So these are found to have associations, and studies are still going on why this happens in these exposed people more. So the answer is still not clear. Diagnosis, how to diagnose? There is clinical criteria, 4 out of 11 criteria have to be identified. I am not going to name them, and I told you it has got a waxing and waning course. And antibodies, anti-nuclear antibodies, anti-DS DNA antibodies, that is a double stranded DNA antibodies, anti-smooth muscle antibodies, anti-histone, anti-phospholipid. You see, some of the antibodies may be seen in other autoimmune disease also. But for SLE, anti-DS DNA antibody and anti-Smith antibody, it is not smooth muscle, anti-Smith antibody is virtually diagnostic. Okay. So anti-phospholipid antibodies are also produced, which can be seen against the prothrombin and the beta-2 glycoprotein type 1. And they lead to production of a hypercoagulable state. Hypercoagulable state means where the blood coagulation happens in the small blood vessel on their own. So that is known as hypercoagulability, because the clot formation takes place, suppose in the arteries of the heart, the arteries of the kidney, so the or the veins of the kidney. So that becomes, there is a clot formation and the drainage of blood, either the in or out, stops. Okay, so those are called hypercoagulable states. So to detect previously we used to do some early cell phenomenon, which is actually outdated test. After the discovery of these specific antibodies, this early cell phenomenon is just for a historical importance and not used in practical purposes. Morphology, what we see, the kidney is involved. There are these lesions have been classified in 1 to 6 types. I am not going to details. I am telling you because each has got its own set of things. So first one is, if it is minimal mesangial involvement, the last one is advanced sclerotic, that is global sclerosis. The whole kidney becomes sclerosed. Okay, more than 90% of the glomeruli becomes sclerosed, and eventually this leads to renal failure. Okay, and in class 4, why it is important? There is subendothelial deposits and wire loop lesions are happening, and which we can see in through this immunofluorescence microscopy. Okay, and hypertension and all these things are happening. So this basically is the disease which is actually, though it is a multi-organ disease, but the kidneys are the organs which are most affected and leads to this renal failure, and that is one of the most important causes of death also. Morphologically, you see the skin shows malar rash, that is the rash on the cheeks, known as the butterfly rash. Urticaria, that is the skin, this inflammation and itching is there. Bulla formation may be there. Joints, we see this non-erosive synovitis. In CNS, some neuropsychiatric symptoms may be there. CVS may be involved, the pericarditis may be seen, and vascular anomalies may be there, splenomegaly can happen, and treatment is by corticosteroids and immunosuppressive drugs. Immunomodulatory drugs are there also, but the treatment still now is only supportive and not curative. You know the difference between supportive treatment and curative treatment. Curative is ones which can actually cure the disease, but supportive treatment by which we can hold the disease or control the disease to a certain extent, but we cannot cure the disease. Rheumatoid arthritis, this is my last disease discussion. So again, it is a systemic chronic inflammatory disorder, mostly involving, here the most important organ is joints, which is involved. Though it is a multisystemic disorder, multisystem disorder, but joints are most involved, whereas in SLE the kidneys are most involved. Please remember that. So it is a non-suppurative proliferative synovitis. The synovial are the ones which are lining the joint spaces. Those are destroyed and leading to destruction of the articular cartilage. Happens in 1% of world population, and females are more affected than males, and 40 to 70 years age is the common age for this presentation. Clinical features are variable. They are slow and insidious in onset, progressive in nature, that is the slow to happen, the slow to start, progressive in nature, gradually they will progress, and they will show a symmetrical involvement, that if it is left hand is involved, similarly right hand may be involved. Small joints, they begin in the small joints. Okay, the joints of the phalanges, these are the phalangeal joints. They are the joints to be involved early. They are swollen, warm, painful, and you see morning stiffness is there, and eventually multiple deformities start happening. The joints, once they start eroding, that there is deformation of the body's bones and joints. There is radial, the names are given, radial deviation of the wrist, ulnar deviation of the fingers, swan neck deformity, buttonhole deformity, all of the fingers. synovial cyst formation with minimal mobility, and eventually fibrosis and ankylosis of the joint. The joints are now not able to move anymore. Just become stiff joints. Okay. The ultimate thing is that joints are not able to move. Their joints become, this is becomes fixed. Ankylosis. And X-ray, in X-ray we see the joint effusion is there, and osteopenia is noted, articular osteopenia, joint erosion, loss of articular cartilage is noted. Etiopathogenesis, again genetic susceptibility and exposure to arthritogenic antigens. So what are those arthritogenic antigens? Nobody knows actually. Okay, so genetic susceptibility, here also some HLA-DR-B1 association has been found, and PPTN22 has been seen that persons having these molecules or are more susceptible for developing a rheumatoid arthritis. Why? So arthritogenic antigens, what are they? Are they viruses? Some citrulinated proteins have been identified, and the ultimate mechanism again is breakdown of this tolerance. So breaking down of the body's immunological tolerance leading to chronic inflammation, and the CD4 cell, they were normally, the tolerance led to the immunological inactivation of those CD4 cells which are activated towards the body's self antigens. But here they are let scot free. They are now moving. They are moving freely in the body, and what they are doing? They are leading to cytokine production, B cell activation, and antibody production, leading to immune complex formation. Here also immune complex are formed. The antibodies, they are formed, they attack, the antigen antibody complex is formed, and they attack the specific areas, the synovial tissue. Okay. The inflammation leads to, the effector cells are the Th1 cell leading to interferon gamma, and the Th17 cells lead to recruitment of the other inflammatory cells, leading to the proliferation of synovial cells. The inflammatory cells are the lymphocytes, the plasma cells, and so on. There is specifically plasma cell activation. There is a lot of plasma cells are seen in rheumatoid arthritis. If a biopsy is taken, the finger-like projection of the synovial by inflammation and proliferation, and sheets and sheets of plasma cells are seen. Okay. So that is there, and eventually a pannus. Pannus is the main thing is that the component of pannus is the plasma cells. The other cells, synovial cells, plasma cells, fibroblasts, they comprise the pannus, and pannus leads to bone and cartilage destruction, fibrosis, and eventually ankylosis. Initially there is fibrosis, fibrous tissue formation is there between the joints, and eventually that fibrous tissue is replaced by bone, and it becomes like a single bone. Suppose femur is there, and beneath that the tibia is there, leading to the knee joint formation. So that joint becomes fibrosed, and the person is not able to fold the knees. So that is known as ankylosis. Okay. Morphologically, synovium are thickened, hyperplastic, and present as papillary fronds. They form multiple papillae. The synovium becomes wavy, hyperplastic. Okay. The dense inflammatory infiltrate, as I told you, lymphocytes, plasma cells, increased vascularity, and the organizing fibrin leads to some bodies known as rice bodies. Okay. And increased bone erosion by osteoclastic activity, osteoporosis, and pannus formation is the mass of synovium with inflammatory cell, granulation tissue, and fibroblasts, leading to ankylosis, and this fibrous ankylosis and bony ankylosis. In skin, rheumatic nodules are seen in elbows, lumbosacral regions, the occiput, and which are seen on histology as fibrinoid necrosis surrounded by epithelioid cells, the lymphocytes and plasma cells. That is a picture of granuloma. And in blood vessels, they present as vasculitis. Okay. Diagnosis is by the clinical features: morning stiffness, systemic arthritis, symmetric arthritis in more than 3 joints, hand joint involvement, and in blood we see RA factor, that is the antibody against FC portion of the autologous immunoglobulin G, and more specific is anti-CCP, that is anti-cyclic cyclinated peptide, that is more specific for detection of rheumatoid arthritis. It is a costly this thing. It is an expensive test, this anti-CCP test, but it is more specific to diagnose, because there are many cases which are RA factor negative, but they are positive for anti-CCP. Okay, treatment is again non-supportive treatment, that is the painkillers, the steroids and disease modifying drugs like methotrexate and TNF agents are given, but again this disease is still not curable. This particular graft rejection I will discuss in the next topic. So we are ending today's discussion here, and thank you for this time I have been given. Extra time it took, sorry for that. And I will be providing you the PDF of this today's lecture. If you have any queries, you can ask through this group, and I will be happy to answer you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Palash. Thank you so much. You dealt with a very difficult topic. Autoimmunity is not easy. You explained it very nicely. Gabbar Singh will do a lot of good, understanding how things work. That was very nice and very vivid and very clear in explaining the autoimmune system. I think we'll take it up in the next topic again. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.